is back. ICOs for fundraising are back and back in a very, very big way. I talked about this fundraising mechanism years ago when it became very, very popular. Unfortunately, some unscrupulous actors along the way caused a lot of problems. The SEC stepped in, and we've not had an ICO since I think it's 2018 or something like that. But if you are fundraising for a startup and you're a fan of cryptocurrency, where you are now going to be back in a place where you could use an initial coin offering, an ICO, to do fundraising. So let's talk about kind of where we've been and where we're going and how all this is going to work. Now, one of the things to be aware of is that these ICOs definitely have a bad reputation, but I think that's going to change with the support of companies like Coinbase. So first of all, what is an ICO? If you don't know, an ICO is an initial coin offering. You essentially mint or create on a platform some sort of coin. Let's pretend you're creating Doge, right? You're creating the Doge coin, and you create that coin. You sell that coin to potential investors in your startup, and that is how they are exchanging capital to you in exchange for ownership or equity in your startup. Again, these have really not happened since 2018. They were very, very popular. Billions of dollars got raised, but what happened was we had a whole lot of fraud and a lot of scams, and that's why the SEC decided to step in and close this down. Now, we're going to be in a new world, though. So Coinbase just, I believe it was this week or last, you probably know who they are, very popular cryptocurrency trading platform. They've added lots of products over the last few years. I could bore you with all of them. I'm a big fan of what they're doing. But they've just launched a brand new platform that a lot of people are calling the public token sales platform. They're using the technology from an acquisition they did for a company called Echo. And the biggest thing is Coinbase, according to everything I could read, is going to act as sort of an intermediary in these transactions, hopefully vetting out the process and making sure we don't have a whole lot of scams and things like that. Now, one of the coolest things about what they're doing is called algorithmic allocation. And one of the problems in general with fundraising is if you're a venture capitalist firm or some sort of other institutionalized investor, you tend to get allocation ahead of, say, a simple retail investor like me or someone else who wants to invest in a startup. But according to what I've read, Coinbase's algorithmic allocation, it's more of a first come, first serve lottery. And so the system prioritizes smaller purchase requests to ensure a broad, fair distribution, basically reducing the whale dominance of someone who wants to come in and buy massive amounts. And when they do that, that stops individual investors from putting a little bit of money into an opportunity. So the platform is going to be encouraging people to hold these coins for a long time, so it's less of a sort of buy and a lot of volatility where it ping pongs around. The very first sale of an ICO on the platform is rumored to be, let's see, what's today? Today is the 11th. It's rumored to be about a week from now. It'll be a company called Monad. And so let's keep an eye on that, see how that goes, see if there's a lot of backlash, but I think it's going to be really, 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 really important. So you've got a new fundraising mechanism that you can do through Coinbase. What a lot of people aren't talking about is all the other products Coinbase has launched recently. They're basically a quasi bank at this point. They can hold deposits in the form of holding cryptocurrency or stable coins or cash in a wallet. They have lending now, so you can borrow money through Coinbase. Your collateral would be your Bitcoin, and they lend it out to you in USDC, so stablecoin. They have credit cards. I've got one. I don't have my wallet on me, but Coinbase one credit card that gives you Bitcoin back in terms of rewards, and they have a debit card. If that doesn't sound like a traditional bank to you, I don't know what you're doing, but they're basically a quasi bank at this point. They're just not FDIC insured. That's one of the big differences. But today's demographic doesn't really care about that a lot. So let's tie all those new products together and think about why are they doing this? Why are they help bringing back the idea of an ICO? Well, of course, it's an initial coin offering, so it's a cryptocurrency coin. That's the business that Coinbase is in. But there's actually, in my opinion, an underlying theme to this. Now, one way to get customers, if you're a quasi bank, is to get them at inception when they're formed. So I could see a method in which Coinbase is pointing to a legal incorporation service like a Stripe Atlas. If you don't know what that is, go Google it. And so you create your new business and you immediately are offered the opportunity to fundraise on behalf of that business via an initial coin offering on Coinbase's brand new platform. So this is really, really, really exciting stuff. I think we're going to see this be called ICO 2.0. I think there's some neat things they're doing with the algorithmic allocation, encouraging individual investors to get their say in early stage growth opportunities. I'm not sure how that's going to work with accredited investors, but I'm going to assume that it's not going to require that you're an accredited investor. What this is going to do is bring what you might call institutional grade investment opportunities to individual people, individual investors, and things like that. So I think it's really going to be a neat service. Now, a couple things to be aware of is that if you decide to, first of all, invest in an ICO, you are investing in something that's very high risk. Startup investing in the first place is very high risk. It's also going to be high risk through an initial coin offering because it's tied to some sort of cryptocurrency. So make sure you do your own research. This is very risk laden, but again, I get it's very exciting. So I think ICO is back. I'm calling this ICO 2.0. If you are fundraising, look into how you can do this. One thing to be mindful of is because you're going to be leveraging platforms, there could be additional costs associated with fundraising, but it gives you yet another vehicle. If you've got a great idea to take to the market, you've got another way to fundraise, leveraging some modern rails, which is really cool. I'll be excited to see how this goes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what questions you have.